This is the Gamecock Corner, brought to you by Randy Jones and Associates, your hot spot for everything you need to know about Jacksonville State football. Time to get the scoop on this week's matchup with your host, Shane Wilson, and the legendary voice of the Gamecocks, Mike Parris.
Welcome to the very first Gamecock Corner of the 2024 college football season. It's brought to you by Randy Jones and Associates. My name is Shane Wilson, and every week you're going to get the inside scoop on JSU football. We're going to talk about the game they played the past week. We'll preview the game for the coming week. And my partner in crime here is going to be the guy that knows more about JSU football than anybody else on the planet because, well, he's been telling you about every play of JSU football for more than 40 years now. The Gamecock guru is here, Mike Parris. Mike, so good to have you here.
Great to be with you. I've never been called a guru in my life, so I appreciate you having me.
First things first, has your physical health recovered since that kick last year in the New Orleans Bowl?
Oh, yeah.
To win?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Everything's good. That was a good time, you know. I got to admit, going into the season, I really didn't think it. You know, there was some discussion that, hey, you know, certain things fall into place. We might could get to a bowl game, but never really thought that first year would happen, quite honestly. That was pretty special the way it turned out.
And I got to tell you, that first season as an FBS school probably went about as good as it could have. You go 9-4, the New Orleans Bowl, and look, you're not alone in having permanent damage done to your physical health. I was right there with you trying to watch that game. But it sets up very well for the second FBS season. So tell us some of the storylines that we can look for with this JSU team in year two as an FBS team.
Well, we go into the opener against Coastal Carolina. Probably not going to know who the starting quarterback is till we walk out there. So it's either going to be Logan Smothers or Tyler Huff. Although Zion Turner's the third guy. Well, wouldn't surprise me if we see all three of those guys in the first game. I definitely see Smothers and Huff, and Turner may get some snaps as well. Another one would be new defensive coordinator and a little bit of a different system than what we've seen the past couple of years with Zach Alley. So that is a storyline as well. And you got half the team that's brand new, 60 new guys part of the squad. So trying to learn all these guys and, you know, learn about them and their stories and whatnot, just trying to put all the puzzle pieces together here. I think those are the storylines as we kick it off.
Yeah, life in the transfer portal is Manny Grand.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So year number 3 for Rich Rodriguez. Now, talk about what he's brought not only to the program, but also to the community around Jacksonville.
I think he's, you know, added some, I'll say, excitement, expectations maybe from the day one that he walked in. You know, you hear coaches talk about establishing their culture, changing the culture. Obviously, we'd been winning prior to Rich Rod getting here, but I think maybe he brought a level of toughness that we didn't have and needed. He refers to it hard edge, you know, wants his guys playing with a hard edge at all times. And I think that's just that's one of the things that he's brought, a more toughness from that standpoint, or a mental toughness maybe that we did lack at times. I think that is one thing, and he's been, you know, pretty active as far as being involved with things going on, talking to people, and being involved in whatnot with different events and functions at Jacksonville State, whether it involves football or other athletic teams, or as I'll refer to it, the other side of the university away from athletics. But, you know, he's I think that has endeared him to our fans as well. And, of course, it all starts with winning, and so we win 9 games in each of his first 2 years. So he's off to a good start.
He most definitely is. Now, let's talk about a very interesting opening opponent for the 2024 season, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, not to be confused with the Jacksonville State student newspaper, also called the Chanticleer, which I know you're very familiar with. Now, they were 8-5 last season, but they handed JSU their first loss last year as well. So revenge has got to be on the minds of JSU. Talk about this Coastal Carolina team, what we can expect from them, and how they might be just maybe a little different from year to year.
Well, same situation. They've got a bunch of new guys, and talking with their people, they're still trying to figure out some things and the depth chart, who's going to be playing where and whatnot. Their starting quarterback, Grayson McCall, had a terrific career there. He actually got hurt in the game, was a little banged up going into our game last year and got hurt, and was in and out of the course of the game last year at their place. He's at North Carolina State now, so they're going to have they probably got 2 guys they're going to play. One of them's a transfer from Michigan State. They lost their best wide receiver, went to South Carolina, so they've had to replace him. They're going to play several guys at wideout. They lost some guys on the offensive line of scrimmage, so got to replace them. So both teams, a lot of questions, I would say, going in about personnel and who they can depend on, who to rely on, and that sort of thing. Offensively, I think they'll probably do what they did last year. They'll run some spread stuff like everybody does, but their bread and butter is running the football, although one of their running backs, Brandon Bennett, not sure his availability for the opening game. He's a little banged up from coming through fall camp and their preseason practices. So their coach, it's his second year there for Tim Beck as the head man. So they've got, some stability. He's been there. So the guys that are still there know his offense and what he wants to do and what's expected of them.
All right. Well, hopefully the sequel goes much better than the original. And now let's look ahead into the crystal ball here. What are a couple of the games that you are most excited about calling and the ones that you think will be the biggest games of the year?
Well, we're picked third in the preseason poll in Conference USA going in just, with the balloting that went on, a point or two behind Western Kentucky. Liberty's picked to win the league. And I think that's, they did fit in the Fiesta Bowl last year and had the best record among Group of 5 teams, and they got them that bowl bid. And they went through the league unbeaten last year, so until somebody beats them, no problems with that. I voted them in my, when I got to vote in the poll. That's who I voted number one. I think the game against them at their place, and will only be the second time that we've ever been up there to play them. And so, it's a beautiful setting for them at their place. I think that'll be a big game. I'm looking forward to the Southern Miss game. I know their program has slipped a little bit from what it was, but nonetheless, look forward to that one, playing them in September. I think the Liberty game will tell us a little bit about the conference race, where we stand there. And I think, I really think Sam Houston's going to be better this year than what they were last year. I think that game and the Western Kentucky game, those are some of the ones I'm looking at as key games as far as the schedule goes.
All right. Well, can't wait to turn the lights on tomorrow night at Burgess-Snow Field when the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers come to call. And Mike, can't wait to talk football with you every week on the Gamecock Corner. So good luck to the Gamecocks tomorrow night, and we'll talk to you again 1 week from today.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Looking forward to it. Go Gamecocks.
Next week, we'll talk about the Coastal Carolina game. We will preview the big game in Louisville against the Cardinals. So make sure you're here for Gamecock Corner, brought to you by Randy Jones and Associates.
Hi, I'm Randy Jones, your hometown trusted choice insurance agency. Randy Jones and Associates knows the playing field, and we have been proudly serving communities across North Alabama for 46 years. Having the right protection on the field is important. The RJA team of experienced agents will help you find affordable, customized insurance coverage for your family, business, and future. Stop by a local Randy Jones Associates office for a free, no-obligation quote or complimentary policy review.
Join us next week for the Gamecock Corner, brought to you by Randy Jones and Associates, a production of WKXX Sports.